the Bible calls compassion. And we know by Jesus' example, and if we are His disciple, we are called to follow in His footsteps, to be compelled with compassion. In the original Greek understanding and meaning of this word compassion, it's likened to having a gut-wrenching pain on the inside that causes us to bow and to cripple in pain. That we just need some release, we need something to happen for that pain to go. And this is the compassion that Jesus calls us to have when we see people that are helpless, that can't help themselves, irrespective of where they come from, or what they have, or what they have not. It's like having an intense pain deep within us, like a forceful blow to the stomach. And we understand that Jesus was a man full of compassion. Jesus continually encountered people who were in need and needed His assistance. Jesus responded with a gut-wrenching ache to their need. When He saw someone was experiencing difficulty, sickness, rejection, there was something within Him, deep inside of Him, like an intense pain that caused Him to act on their behalf. He was moved by this intense aching to see them healed, restored, brought back into the community. Jesus was compelled to care with healing, grace, and mercy. And as His disciples, following in His steps, we too are to be compelled to care, to offer Christ healing, to show His grace and mercy, and to help them when they can't help themselves. That's why, as a church, we are so focused on missions outside of Australia, to support those that are helping those that are in need that we physically can't touch, but we can help by supporting those that can. By reaching into our Indigenous Australians in the Northern Territory through our church in Tennant Creek, and in our church in Orange in New South Wales through the Jordan Ministry. This is why we reach new migrants when they come to Adelaide, because they need our help and our assistance for them to settle in. And in particular at this time when they are in need. And we're trying to offer help not only through advice and practical assistance, but through the very practical avenue of food parcels and cooked meals. We've got to do something. We can't just sit back and look on the TV screens and say, wow, that's so bad for them. I'm so blessed to live in Australia. We've got to do something. There's got to be an ache. There's got to be a compassion within us that compels us to do. We should never excuse ourselves from what we are called to do in regards to reaching the lost. Matthew chapter 9 verse 36. When He, being Jesus, saw the crowds, He had compassion on them, because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. How many children around our world? I've shared some facts. There's so many more that I could share. How many children around the globe that are helpless and distressed and need help and assistance? Chapter 14, verse 14. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, He had compassion on them and healed their sick. And then we look here in chapter 15, verse 32. Jesus called His disciples to Him and said, I have compassion for these people. They have already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on their way. In other words, Jesus responded with compassion. He personalized their need and became involved. He stepped into the arena of their life. He stepped into the arena of their need, and He gave an answer. He acted because He was motivated by a compassion, a deep ache on the inside to see betterment for them. What is our response to people suffering or experiencing injustice? Is it like a gut-wrenching ache compelling us to act through care, mercy, goodness, following the example of the compassionate actions of Jesus? You see, the point is this: the closer we get to Jesus, the more we will care about the things that Jesus cares for. The more we spend time with Him, the more we understand Him, the more we get to know Jesus, the more that we will start to care about the things and the people that He cares about. The opposite is also true. The further we get from Jesus, the less we care about the things that He cares about. The more we only focus on our world and our needs and don't engage in the needs of others, the further we actually drift away from the original purpose of Jesus. We must cultivate compassionate hearts. How can we expand our hearts to care for more than ourselves? Expanding our hearts always starts with what we choose to see.